What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Wizards Roundup, which is basically where I go through the Wizards record for the week, Wizards news for the week, and anything of note for the Wizards throughout the week. Now, if you guys enjoy the content, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, our first story is just some reschedulements of the Wizards' previous postponed games. We have Portland at Washington, which was rescheduled to February 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have Washington at Charlotte, which was rescheduled for February 7th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, our next story is the Wizards finally returned to play. They played on Sunday, January 24th against the San Antonio Spurs. They lost this game, but it was just nice to get the Wizards back on the court to see, them play basketball. It had been a couple weeks. It's been a while. So it was good just to get them out there on the floor again because everybody else was playing and the Wizards weren't playing. So it got kind of boring for a little while. But even with the loss, it was good to get them back on the court. But let's get into what the real story of, the week was about. You had John Wall returning to play his former team for a decade in the Washington Wizards. You have John Wall versus the Wizards, John Wall versus Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook versus Houston, his former team. I mean, it was a good game. It was a lot of action. John and Russell Westbrook got into it a little bit. But in all, the Rockets pulled away at the end. John Wall gets his revenge, in the debut matchup against his former team. So I was happy for Wall, but also upset the Wizards lost again. But, it was entertainment. It's entertaining. It was definitely a game I wouldn't mind seeing again. I know they play one more time in D.C., so that'll be another game to watch, especially if you're a Wizards fan. That's probably going to be even more emotional for John since he will be returning to D.C. This game was in Houston. But that was a fun game. And our next game was a back-to-back in the New Orleans Pelicans. This game was a complete wash. It was not really notable of anything. It was a blowout, from the jump pretty much. Wizards looked tired. They looked depleted. And that's what it was. But we got some news out of this. We got some quotes. I love the quotes. Now, as a result of this New Orleans Pelicans game, we got a tweet from Bradley Beal's wife, Camilla Adams Beal. She tweeted, "Sick of it," which I think we all can agree with. We all can agree with. We're sick of it. She's sick of it. I mean, he's sick of it. The team's sick of it. I will hope they are. I could not agree more with this tweet. I really could not agree more with this tweet. And we had some more quotables that made headlines from Bradley Beal himself. Bradley Beal, when asked by a reporter, "Are you frustrated?" he simply responded, "Is the sky blue?" Now, this made national headlines, national trends, and all of that. I mean, who wouldn't be frustrated in this situation? You scoring a lot of points, but your team ain't winning, so it's kind of like meaningless. You know what I mean? And he was also quoted saying, "It's tough. We want to win. I want to win. This is why I stayed. I want to win here. I figured this is the place I can get it done." Which is kind of him saying throughout all the trade rumors, which has really been heating up a lot for obvious reasons. That was kind of his way of saying that he didn't want to be traded at the moment. That he wants to stick it out here and stick it through. Bradley Beal's loyalty is, is very inspirational. I admire it. But, I mean, it may be to a fault. But, it's inspiring his loyalty to the Washington Wizards organization. Now, our next story. The Wizards finally started getting some reinforcements back. Before the Wizards-Hawks games, you had Davis Bertans, Rui Hachimura, and Mo Wagner, who were going to be available for that game against the Hawks. So it was nice to see some of the guys coming back from the COVID safety protocols, especially guys like Bertans and Hachimura, which we haven't seen in a while. So even with them playing, you knew they were kind of going to be rusty. And that's what it was. Davis Bertans, I think, scored like 1 point. Rui Hachimura was rusty as well. He didn't really look that good. The Wizards wound up losing again. During this span of 4 games, the Wizards lost all 4. They went 0-4. They didn't win a game. Which kind of led to, more frustration and things like that. It led to Scott Brooks, who I just love hearing talk in post-game pressers because, his quotes are just so funny. Whether it's him making a joke or just him saying something that, I can't wrap my head around. You guys already know how I feel about Scott Brooks. I think he should be gone. He's a very frustrating coach. But this led to him saying after the game, about him dealing with the loss of 6 players due to, the COVID. And he said, I didn't have the blueprint. I'm not a good COVID coach. I'll be the first to admit that. I don't know. It's something about that quote that's just so funny to me. I just don't know if there's another coach who would say something like that. But Scott Brooks just brings the quotes every single time. Every single time. This leads me to my new segment of every week I just want to highlight a Scott Brooks quote or, multiple quotes. I have another quote. It was a joke because Scott Brooks just believes he's so funny. When Scott Brooks was asked on how Anthony Gill slid his way into the starting lineup, he said this, and I quote, "Pretty easy. I just made a decision." Want to know how I made it? I don't know, man. This is the coach of the Washington Wizards. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. But the next story we have is we have more Wizards reinforcements coming. You have Denny Avdia, Troy Brown Jr., and Ish Smith, who will be available for the Brooklyn Nets game. And this is good timing for Ish Smith coming back because Raul Neto will be out because he re-aggravated his left groin injury. And like I said, I'm not expecting too much because I know they haven't played in a while. If Troy Brown even plays at all, but Denny and Ish, I can see them struggling a little bit against the Nets because it's their first time playing in a little while. So they kind of got to get back into the groove of playing NBA basketball again. While all these other teams have just been playing already. There's no layoff for them. So it's good to see the Wizards getting a team that's kind of getting the team fully healthy again. Like I said, I know Neto's out, but there's been some positives, like Russell Westbrook against the Atlanta Hawks. He had one of his best games of the season. He looked quick. He looked good. I know he got ejected from the game, getting into it with Rajon Rondo. But, all in all, he looked good, so I hope that can continue against the Nets. For the week, that's all my stories I have for you guys. That's all the news I have for you guys. You got Wizards reinforcements coming. You got some notable Bradley Beal quotes. You got your typical Scott Brooks quotes and joke, because he gives you a joke about once or two post-game press conferences. He'll give you a joke in there that's extremely corny, but hopefully the Wizards can get a win, man. It's been rough. 4-game losing streak. The fans just want to see a win, so hopefully they can get something going soon. Hopefully it gets started against the Brooklyn Nets, but all in all, I will give this week, if I gave this week a letter grade, I would give it a D-. Only reason it's not an F is because I know they were coming back from being off for however many weeks. They don't have a full squad, but it was a lot of drama, man. It just seemed like it was a lot of drama, a lot of quotes, a lot of national attention for the wrong reasons. But hopefully they can pick it up. But if I had to letter grade it, I would give this week a D. So that's all I got for you guys this week. I'll be back next week with another Wizards Roundup video. I'll also be here to talk of the Wizards Nets games. Hopefully they can go 2-0 against the Nets and get another win. James Harden will be out for this game against the Wizards. But until next time, guys. Later. Peace.